Hi, my name's Scott. I'm one of the English teachers here at SERC, and today I'm going to give you a short lesson on pronunciation. So, I want you to think about three things I'm going to say. The first thing is, have you ever needed help with English? Okay. Have you ever asked your teacher for help? And have you ever wondered why there are different pronunciations for words that end in ed in the English language? Well, today I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to tell you the rules that you can use to help you. And thank goodness there are some rules for this one, which is good. So, first of all, I want you to have a quick look here. So these are the three words that you heard me say at the start of the lesson. Needed, asked, and wondered. Now listen to them and listen to how I say them. The first one, needed. There are two syllables there. And if you listen to the end, it's like an id, needed. Needed, okay? Then the second one. And the end of this one's different, so listen carefully for this one. Asked. Asked. It's got a T sound to it. Asked. And the last one is a little bit more normal. And if you listen to what I said again, the ending here, the ed ending, wondered. Wondered. It's a more traditional D sound. So you have three different pronunciations for words that end in ed. You've got an id sound, you've got a t, and you've got a d sound, okay? So let's look into this a little bit more. If you see here, I've got some examples. And looking here, you have three different classes of words that are used here. The past tense of regular verbs, the past participles of regular verbs, and then some adjectives as well. So if you listen to these words, these past tense of regular verbs, wanted, asked, called, and you can hear the three different sounds that we use there, okay? The past participles, well, in regular verbs, the past participle is the same as the past simple. And here we have needed, helped, cleaned. And then we have some adjectives like this one here. Excited, astonished, and closed. And again, you can hear all three sounds in those words. Okay, so next question is why? Well, I'll not spend long on this, but there are two types of sounds in English. There are what we call voiced sounds, and there are also voiceless sounds. And this is a clue. This helps you a little bit, as you'll see in a second. But I'll explain this to you first of all. So voiced sounds are sounds that are made from the vocal cords. So the sound for the letter L, for example, if you put your fingers here in your throat and you make a L, L, L sound, you can feel your vocal cords move. Or the sound for N, 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 N. Try it. You can see the difference. You'll feel here your vocal cords. On voiceless sounds, if you do the same here, you won't feel the same vibration. And these voiceless sounds are things like F. We make these in our mouth. So put your fingers here and do an F. There's nothing happening down here. Or the sh, the SH sound, sh, sh. Again, it's all made in the mouth. It's not made there. And that's one of the reasons why. So now let's move on to the actual rules of these three different endings. And you'll see why I've shown you these voiceless and voiced sounds in a second. So just let me show you this graphic here. And this shows you the three different sounds and the rule for these sounds. So the first one is the id sound, okay? And the crucial point here is if you look at the base verb. So this one is want, and this one is need. And you can see here they end with a T or a D. If the verb, if the verb or the adjective ends in a T or a D sound, then you have this id sound. So listen to me: wanted, needed, excited, rented. Okay, and that's the one that people want to use all the time, but we don't use it all the time. We only use it when we have a T or a D at the end of the verb. Okay, now look at these. There are many, many more for these two sounds. So if you look down here and you look at the end letter, the end sound, the end consonant sound here is a P. So when it's the last sound of a word is a P sound, we have helped. Or when we have a K sound, we have looked. These are all going to be with a T. When we have a F, and remember both these words with the F and the GH, which makes a F sound, laughed, sniffed. Then we have our SH and our CH, washed, watched. And then we have our double S or S sound, kissed. And then again with a soft C, the S sound again, danced. And then with an X, fixed. All those words that have a P, a K, a F, a Sh, a Ch, a S, or a X sound at the end, and they have an ED, will have a T sound. So listen to me again. Helped, looked, sniffed, laughed, washed, watched, kissed, danced, fixed. Okay, now over here, when you have, and these are all voiceless. That's what I was showing you before, the voiceless. Now these ones here are voiced sounds. And these are sounds with a L or a N or a R at the end of each of these words. And these ones all will have a D sound. So listen to me. Called, cleaned, offered, damaged, loved, used, amazed, rubbed, claimed. Okay? So there is one more thing here as well I should point out. That words that end in a vowel sound, like follow, or enjoy, or play, AAA, vowel sound, they get this same voiced sound over here, the D sound. Okay? Right. So let me explore that a little bit more with you. And I'm going to show you this little graphic here. And this just explains what I've just been telling you. The pronunciation of words ending in ED depends on the final consonant sound. So with want, the final consonant sound is a T, and then that makes it an id, okay? Wanted. There are three ways to pronounce ED at the end of a word in English. And here we go, id, t, and d. And I'll just explain these to you again. You can see here in red, I have marked the final consonant sound. So for the first guys with these ids, it's the easy one, okay? This is where you can use two different syllables. So when it's either a T or a D as the final consonant sound, you use id. So listen to me. Wanted, needed, excited, astounded. Okay, that's the easy one. Now, one of the big mistakes that non-native speakers make is they want to put this id every time they see a word ending in ed. But remember, it's only if the final consonant sound of the verb or the word or the adjective in this case has a t or a d. Okay? Now, maybe the most common one are words that have the t sound at the end. So if there's a k, a p, a f, look at that list I've just shown you before. You can see, now listen to me say these words. Looked, hoped, laughed, washed, touched, and there are a few more different ones that I've shown you in the list previously. These all sound like they've got a T at the end, but they don't. But the last, if it's got a K sound here, that will change the sound of the end to a T, looked. Or if it's got a P sound here, a P sound like a P, hoped, and so on, you can see there. And then the last one is the D sound. And you have called, cleaned, allowed, and wondered. Okay? So let's just have a little practice before we finish. And I want you to listen to me and then repeat what you hear. So I'll give you a few seconds to repeat the sentence and then we'll go on again, okay? So the first one, Scott was excited about his lesson. Repeat. Next one, Scott looked up at the sky. Repeat. And the last one, Scott loved his beard. Repeat. So to finish, I want you to remember one more thing, and I want to share this with you. Remember, the key is the end sound of the end consonant sound, okay? If it's a T or a D, it's going to be id. If it's going to be a T sound, you're going to have a K, a P, or all the other ones I showed you before. And then again, you've got the D sound, and again, look back at the list that I showed you before of all the different sounds. One of the big things, the most important thing I think to remember here is everybody wants to use this id sound when they see ed. It's only when there's a T or a D consonant sound there, okay? At the end of that word. The rest, you don't have that id. You don't say look ed or hope ed, no, or wash ed, or call ed or clean ed. That is one of the big things that will be very noticeable with your pronunciation if a native speaker hears you speaking, okay? So try and remember those rules, and I will see you soon. Okay, see ya.